love my job. I would have never done anything to jeopardize it. Thank you.
Would never jeopardize your job? I mean, you basically made an infomercial on how to rob the LAX Mac Cosmetics store. You showed us what time you pre-open, you showed us your badge, you showed us where the cash is, and you showed us how much cash there is. The fact you got fired for this and still posted the video.
So a couple of weeks back, I had a conversation about whether or not we should start thinning the herd.
Thinning the herd. Ah, yes, the title of that video should give you a clue of what it's about.
And when I say thin the herd, what I mean is we need to start reducing the male population.
Interesting. I wonder how they're planning on going about doing that.
We as women need to start really controlling who is born and who is not.
Let us be very clear. They're referring to women taking control of the entire human population by ensuring that only certain members of particular demographics are actually born. There's a word for that.
Men are okay infringing on your rights by telling you that you cannot have an abortion, that they'd rather save the child than to save the mother. They are okay with having say-so or regard over your body. So me, I feel as a woman, I feel no types of way saying to reduce the male population altogether.
Some individuals are not going to like what I'm about to say, specifically some women, but I am about to be very blunt. If you happen to be worried about giving birth to a boy because you're concerned that he's going to grow up to be a misogynist or someone that's going to take your rights away, well then, all I have to say is that you failed as a parent.
In order for us to achieve peace on planet Earth and get the things that we want to get out of this life, we're going to have to delete 90% of men. Yes, that includes your awful baby daddy and your father. So if I was president of the universe, we would literally structure society so that we can finally achieve a matriarchy. But in order to do that, we have to get rid of most men because let's just face it, most men are not.
This has got to be by far the most dumbest statement I've ever heard in my life.
Before we even get into the courtroom-style breakdown, let's slow this down for a second because what you're about to hear is not just a casual clip. It's a layered mix of workplace controversy, social commentary, and some extremely polarizing takes that instantly ignite debate online. We start with a woman confidently stating she would never jeopardize her job, a simple, firm denial. But almost immediately, the tone flips. The response she receives isn't just skepticism. It's sarcasm, disbelief, and a full breakdown of her own actions being used against her. And that's where things get interesting. Because this isn't just about one incident anymore. It spirals into a much larger conversation about accountability, behavior, gender dynamics, and extreme viewpoints being expressed without filters in public spaces. What makes this even more intense is how quickly the conversation shifts from a personal situation into broad societal claims, touching on controversial ideas, emotional triggers, and statistical arguments that viewers will either strongly agree with or completely reject. So the real question going forward is this. Are we watching a valid critique of behavior and consequences? Or are we witnessing a highly charged narrative designed to provoke reaction at every turn?
You know what year the War of 1812 was? It's kind of a... probably like... Ooh. You don't know what year the War of 1812 was? I think it was... I don't know. How much is a quarter of an hour? That's a good one.
A quarter of an hour? 25 minutes.
What is 3 times 3 times 3?
18. 3 times 3 times 3?
Yeah.
21?
Close.
22?
No.
Am I recorded?
No.
I'm like fried right now.
You were really close.
Yes. 20?
Up.
I said 20, 23, 24, 25.
Oh, hello. I'm good. Yeah. I also miss you. I'm just chilling right now. Yes. It's so funny. Oh, no. I have to go. Oh.
You serious?
Even if I were to be engaged or have a man, like, you need to go to work
every single day. Like, I don't want you in my space all the time. You also need to have your own bathroom. I just have a lot of requirements.
When you think about an abusive relationship, you might picture a woman isolated and locked away in a house. But what if abuse could also look like a man sent out of the house, working 14-hour days? What if male abuse looks like domestic slavery and female abuse looks like financial slavery? A man working 70 hours a week to redecorate a house that he's not even allowed to relax in. Let's go back to the chart. I'm going to explain each one of these steps. But let me be clear, I'm not talking about all women. This isn't a blueprint for relationships. This is what describes female abusive relationships. Step 1 is simple. Find a man who still believes the myth that all women are gentle, kind, and nurturing. That's the man that she targets, the guy who's never been warned. He doesn't know what's coming, and when he's saying his wedding vows and sees that smile on her face, he assumes it's from sweetness, from love. He has no idea that it's actually the smile of satisfaction that a predator gets knowing that prey has walked into its trap. This is why you're subscribed to this channel, because you need to be aware that women do have a dark side so that you can avoid that fate. Step 2 is to break his confidence. She nags, she insults, she disrespects, every word designed to grind you down. She wants to break you apart internally, make you feel so bad about yourself that you don't have the strength to stand up for yourself. She'll use a lot of guilt, make you feel like you're a villain and that you owe her. That way, when she demands more, you don't resist, you apologize. There's a reason why she keeps a list of your failures and shortcomings close at hand. It's because she is slowly conditioning you. Her goal is to erase your personhood and then make you an extension of her will, always serving her interests. And that's step 3, getting control over you. Bit by bit, she chips away at your sense of self until there's nothing left but obedience. It's so sad. You see this with couples sometimes where it's obvious that the man has been completely broken. He just follows her around like a lapdog. It's awful. And these women enforce their control by a dual use of...
Right here, the tone immediately shifts into sarcasm and critique. The idea that someone claims they would never jeopardize their job is directly challenged by the accusation that their own content effectively exposed sensitive operational details. From a commentary standpoint, this is where perception becomes everything. Even if intent wasn't malicious, the argument being made is about exposure and responsibility. The speaker is essentially framing the situation as self-incriminating behavior, and that's why the reaction is so harsh. But here's the bigger question for viewers. Should intent matter more than outcome? Or once something is publicly shared, does responsibility fully shift to the person who posted it? That's the underlying tension here.
Talk to you no more. Can you please bring my kid out before I call the police? It's my time of visit. Just bring him out. We'll settle this in court. We'll go back, okay? Period.
Calling the police.
We'll call the police if that's what I have to do, because I'm telling you that I don't want to speak to you no more. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Conversation ended. Once I told you I don't want to speak to you, I don't need to listen to you. Mm-hmm. It's my time of visit. Bring my kid out. I'll leave at 7 when I leave. Mm-hmm. Period. Point blank.
Just clarify. I'm trying to better our
we don't come. We don't come to an agreement. You think you know everything? Okay. Can you please bring me my kid out?
I just want you to clarify.
Please bring my kid out.
False accusers should be in jail. False accusers should be in jail. I don't know why that sentence is so complicated to people. There's a streamer named Ty Lil who recently faced essay allegations, and he just debunked the shit out of them. He plays video evidence of her asking, am I a one-night stand in a hotel room after, presumably, they just hooked up. On December 8th, she sends him this emoji. He does not respond. So what does she do? She sends a Zelle request for 2 bands talking about for playing with me. Again, no response from Ty Lil. So what does she do? 3 hours later, sends him this photo, me giving him his last warning before I show him who I really am. Wake the up, people. This happens every day. Every damn day. It's a new woman. It's a new doing it. Y'all know where my passion on this subject comes from. I've been down this road before. Unfortunately, some of y'all may know that. Think that it's a game. And you know what happens when I'm telling a new girl that I'm talking to that this happened to me in the past? About like 30% of the time, the girl will look at me and be like, oh, don't piss me off. I might be next. Under the jail. This is why I tell y'all to be cautious when believing bullshit like this on the internet. That's pretty much it. What do y'all think about the situation? As for Ty Lil, he'll recover just fine from this. He debunked it as is, but traumatically, this will affect him. This affects everybody who deals with it. It is tough, bro. It is traumatic.
Men take their lives all the time over false accusations because they simply cannot do anything about it. They might be able to get lucky enough to go spend half a decade in court to prove their innocence, but in the process of them doing that, they have lost their entire lives, their careers are over, and their reputations are ruined, okay? This Ty Lil situation just proves to me that most of the women who are doing this and accusing these men of doing these horrible things to them are truly doing it for passion. She was passionate about trying to ruin Ty Lil's career and reputation. The text messages that she was sending to him, I couldn't even fathom what I was reading over. And just the thought of that she will be receiving 0 punishment and 0 prison time for what she just tried to make an attempt at, and all of the women also who have done the same thing and got caught the same way she has will also be receiving 0 punishment and 0 prison time and maybe a slap on the wrist and maybe a little media backlash until everybody simply just forgets about what happened is simply pathetic. It takes people's lives. Why is nobody understanding that? Also, could you imagine if Ty Lil was a regular dude and he didn't have this platform to be able to get on there and prove his innocence and debunk all these accusations thrown against him? His life would simply be ruined and his reputation would be ruined. So next time this happens to somebody, can we immediately not jump to conclusions and immediately not believe the victim off the get-go without any information being released? What happened to innocent until proven guilty?
Now we enter a completely different lane, and this is where the content becomes highly controversial. The phrase thinning the herd is introduced and immediately reframed in a way that suggests population-level control discussions. This is where viewers need to pause and separate emotional reaction from meaning. Because while the wording is extreme, the conversation being referenced is about power, control, and societal structure, specifically gender and reproductive influence. But let's be real, statements like this don't exist in a vacuum. They trigger strong emotional reactions because they touch on deeply sensitive topics like autonomy, identity, and ethics that the question becomes, is this being presented as serious ideology or provocative rhetoric designed to push boundaries and spark outrage?
Thomas equals 6'2".
No, I'm fine.
97.4% of women would prefer incarceration to admitting fault. This is according to a new study from Penn State. They had about 3,000 or so women, about 3,000 or so men, and 97.4% of the women consistently chose incarceration in prison as the better alternative than admitting they were wrong. For comparison's sake, 11% of men did the same thing. So 11% of men, which, like, how stupid are you? But 11% of men, at least that means 89% of men are like, I'll just admit I was wrong. But 97.4% of women, not more than 97% of women would prefer to go to prison than admit they were at fault. That's insanity. Like, that is a level of accountability that I seriously can't even think of the word for it. Again, I'm even blown away that 11% of men were like, I'd rather go to prison than admit I was wrong. But 97.4%, ladies, how allergic are you to accountability?
And she's like, sir, excuse me, sir, can you reach this off the top shelf for me? We're short. I look at him, he look at me, he said, boom. The fact that he knew he needed permission to help these people, and the fact that I thought they could just ask him.
That is what insecurity looks like. And not only is she insecure, but she's also very disrespectful. She posted that video, and if you go to the comment section of that video, the way how they are dogpiling on her husband and talking about his looks, and she refused to take the video down. And he didn't do anything wrong. All she did was pan the camera around on him, and he's catching all the stray bullets right now. I can understand if she posted the video and didn't expect the comment section to go the way that it's going. But once you see that, and you see that people are dogpiling on your husband, and they're also disrespecting her in the comment section, why would you not then delete the video? I'll tell you why. It's because it's the most views and comments she's ever gotten from a video. So she cares more about that.
At this point, the discussion escalates significantly with claims about reducing large portions of the population. This is where commentary becomes essential, because the statement itself is not just controversial. It's extreme in scope and implication. What's important to analyze here is not just what is being said, but how it's being justified. The argument attempts to frame a global solution through elimination-based thinking, which immediately raises ethical and logical concerns. And this is where disagreement usually forms sharply. Some viewers interpret this as frustration expressed in extreme terms, while others see it as fundamentally unacceptable ideology, regardless of context. Either way, this is a turning point in the video's emotional intensity.